Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Five Questions with the man, the myth, the legend, the champ himself, Mr. Mike Robertson. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Todd. I appreciate you having me. Very grateful to be here.
I'm stoked to have you on the show. I know we've been working on it for a while. We have lots to talk about tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
And, I mean, what better way to get ready for tomorrow's show than to ask you five crazy questions?
I'm ready. Let's rock and roll.
You don't look nervous. You said you were nervous.
A little bit nervous. Everybody gets a little bit nervous in front of camera, and if they don't, they're lying. It's like a fisherman. It's this big. I mean, that big. You know what I mean?
Or as we say, picture didn't count, right?
That's right. Picture doesn't count. With the ruler. Picks with the ruler, or it's
no go.
No go.
That's why all my catches are photoshopped.
Me too. I put Google things in the background so people can't see where I'm fishing and all that stuff. And
I just use a Fish Whipped Apparel logo.
Okay, let's do it. I like
Done.
it.
All right, Mike, let's start with your questions.
Sure thing.
Question number one, what is your favorite body of water? Lake, not river, because everyone knows what your favorite river is.
Right, yeah, that's pretty easy to tell. I like places where there's fish in them, Todd. Like, I go to places and I cast, I cast and there's no fish, right?
Why would you not fish a lake with no fish?
Well, that's what I mean, right? So, I like to go on Facebook and look at everybody else's stuff and try to figure out where they're fishing. And I go, all right, that's the lake I want to go to.
So you're the zoom in guy.
That's me, right? And I screenshot everything and I got backgrounds and stuff like that. And that's where I go. No, seriously, I love my favorite lake, going back to your question, is the Lower Kananaskis Lake. I've always loved that area. I love just the scenery that you get out there. The mountains, you're away from the concrete jungle. There's hardly any people. It's a lower kind of pressured place, especially if you go on a weekday. So, and you can cruise.
I know we're not a political show. Are you paying the $90 this year?
It's pretty much you have to. I mean, like if you want to go out there and you want to get a ticket, I don't want tickets associated with my name. I don't want tickets associated with my business. That's kind of like he's a cheater, right?
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah, you can almost say that. So I don't break the rules, Todd. I like to, follow the law. If it's $90 a year, I probably make it out there 2-3 times a year. So I'll probably do the 15, 30, 45 buck thing.
Yeah.
So, yes, of course I'm going to do that because, that's the law, right? Do I agree with it? No, absolutely not. I don't agree with it. Do I agree with the crown land? Say that 5 times in a row. Crown land camping fee. Do I agree with that? No, I don't agree with that. I think.
Well, I can tell you, I don't camp on crown land, but I refuse to pay for extra ketchup packets. That's just going to be. I'm drawing the line, man. That's it. I will pack my own bottle of ketchup if I have to. I'm not paying for that.
Right. There has to be a line in the sand drawn. So for sure, I agree.
I'll pay to go to Kananaskis, but I am not paying for that ketchup, man. No deal. That's where I draw the line in the sand.
Yes, sir. Lower Kananaskis Lake.
Lower K.
Yes, sir.
All right. What is your number one boat safety tip?
Wow, that's a good question. Safety is always first. Everybody that comes with me, I always say safety first. So, you come on a trip, we have fun. That's the name of the game. We catch as many fish as we can. Obviously, that's another part of the game. But the number one thing is I always want to, let people go home safe and sound. Like I would never, ever, ever want to be the guy to make that phone call, right? Yep. Like, hi, your son's now a quadriplegic, or now your son will never come back, or your daughter, or whoever I'm guiding, right? So, I think my number one boat safety tip would be, how like when you catch a fish and it's super exciting and you get all jacked up and you lose focus of kind of where you are, like, you know what I mean? You're so wrapped up in that fish that you don't see things coming. That's my job, to make sure that I see things coming for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the times sometimes it's even very sternly, but I don't care, whatever. If I hurt your feelings, you may or may not get over that, but that doesn't matter to me. I want you to make sure that, like, so people will stand up when they catch a fish, right? And a lot of people don't see the bank coming, or they don't see that rock behind you, or they don't see that shallow water you're about to float into, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I always tell people, please sit down, right?
Yep.
And then when it's safe to do so, I take care of the fish. I get the fish off the hook. I give you the fish, I give you the fish. We take a couple quick pictures and we release the fish. But it's always super important for people to be aware, like to be aware of their conscience.
You're like a pilot, right? The seatbelt sign is on for a reason.
Yeah, that's right. So be situationally aware is super important. And that's my job when I have people out on my boat. I am the captain of the boat, right?
Yep.
So basically what I say goes on that boat, right? If I need you to sit down, if I need you to, don't lean over the boat too much, if you wear a life jacket, whatever
Yep.
it is, that's the gig, right? And if you don't like it, well, there's nobody else guiding the river for spin fishermen, so go see them.
And when we talk boat safety tomorrow night, I've got the ultimate tip that you taught me. I'm not even going to tell you what it is.
I probably don't remember what it is, but that's cool. We can always take away things that people teach us. I always remain teachable because I think it's important to never stop learning. So
I have video of the error that was made.
Okay.
So I won't share it, but we'll talk about it tomorrow night.
Good.
Question number 3. We all know you're the master of the spin rod, but if you were a fly, what fly would you be?
I would be a zipped up fly because nobody wants to walk around with their fly undone. No.
Valid.
Kidding.
Drafty.
Just something off the top of my head. But probably a Bow River bugger. It's like really big with a big fat head and fluffy feathers and really cool stuff on it. So
and the funny part about that question is people probably don't even think you know what fly fishing is. That is false.
That is false because I study all kinds of different methods. It's a method to achieve something, fly fishing.
Yep.
Bait fishing is a method to achieve something.
That's
Spin
right.
fishing is a method to achieve something. So it's a tool. I always tell people I never knock the tools that people choose to get the job done. Okay. So I think some people have the stipulation or something in their head that I don't like them and they don't like me and we're always at war with each other. That's not the case for me, Todd. I accept people for whatever methods of fishing they choose to catch their quarry, right?
Yep.
So if it's a fly, if it's a spin cast, they go bait fishing. A lot of times people have their local resources, okay? So, for example, the Bow River for me is a local resource. I live 5 minutes away from the river. So why wouldn't I utilize that resource? Why would I drive 2 hours, 3 hours when I have a world-class fishery in my backyard, right?
Yep.
Of course, I love going for all kinds of different fish, which is what I'm going to be doing this weekend. And that just happens to be, I'm going to be using bait fish. I'm going to be using worms to fish for my quarry, right?
Almost outside of your comfort zone.
I don't have a comfort zone. If I'm fishing, I'm comfortable.
Anything fishing.
Yeah, if it's on a river or a lake or there's water around, that's my comfort zone.
Yep.
Really?
That's why you're calm, cool, and collective. You're Mike Robertson, right?
Nervous. I don't want to be here. I'm scared.
Question number 4.
Yes, sir.
Because you spend so much time on it, what is the craziest thing you've seen on the bow?
Wow, good question. I think that goes back to like the stuff that I see happen to people. I've saved like probably, I want to say 3 or 4 dogs from drowning. So they're caught in current. They can't swim back up. The bank's too high. The dog can't get out. It's trying to get back to its owner, but it's going to die. Right.
It's unfortunate.
So yeah. So everybody puts the rods down, listen to my commands. We get the dog, we get it in the boat, we drop it off on the shore, and you're a good guy, right? That's one of the craziest things. The second craziest thing I ever had experienced was I was driving up the river. I had clients with me. We are finishing our day, and I see this guy waving me down in a drift boat. And like there was like an older couple, like an older mom an older dad, whatever, and then the son was rowing the boat. He was fishing or whatever. They were all fishing. And I, honest to God, I thought the old guy I thought he was dead, man. He was like unresponsive, unconscious. It was bad, like scary. It scared me, right? So
Wow.
I told the guy that was rowing the boat, you have to row the boat to the takeout point. I'm going to take your mom and your dad, because it was his mom and his dad. His dad was like pale white, unresponsive, barely breathing, stuff like that, right? So I picked, and I already had 3 people in my boat, so I barely made it back up the river, bro. And it was like, I got him to the shore. We called 911 on the way, and fire, EMS, everybody was there. They checked his pulse. He became responsive after we got back to the boat launch. He didn't know where he was. It was super wild, man. Like super wild. So
amazing you were there. You saved some lives.
Yeah, I could have saved his life. I don't know, right? Like I can't say for sure, but I definitely helped the guy, and that was probably the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah.
All right, not to make light of a serious situation.
Yes, sir.
But you've been following the show, so it's only fitting that question number 5, although people hear it all the time, opinions always vary. Mono or braid?
Every tool has an application, right? So if you go sturgeon fishing, I'm not using monofilament line. I'm using 50-pound braided line. Okay. If I'm jigging for walleye, I'm not using mono. I'm using braid, right? Say 8-pound, 10-pound, whatever. So use the proper tool for the application. That's my answer to that question. On the Bow River, I use monofilament line. I use Berkeley XT low vis green. That was a little bit of a dig at you, Todd, for some of the stuff you're using on your, I don't know if that was your girlfriend's rod or your rod or what.
I almost visioned this coming, and you're lucky we're not doing this live, because I would do to you what I did to the line.
Okay. Yeah. But so high vis, think about that, right? Low vis, yeah. Okay. So enough said about that one. You learned your lesson. You got rid of the line. That's good, right? We all, that's another thing.
I'll fight you in August when Marcy and I come fishing with you. How's that sound?
Okay, that's cool. But so back to your question, every application has a use, has a purpose. So when I'm on the river, I like things to be fast, right? Things are fast. So when I'm using a braided line, it's slow. You got to tie a polymer knot. You got to clip. You got to get the clippers. By that time, you're 100, 200, 300 yards down the river, and the guy's like, "Can I get my money back, please?" Like, why are you wasting my time, right? So time is money. Time is of the essence. So I use monofilament line because it's quick. I can clip it with my teeth. I can tie a quick clinch knot, whatever, right? Improve.
Yeah.
It's fast. So I can tie a hook back on. I can switch a hook in a minute, under a minute.
Yep.
And you're, wow, that was fast. Like, thanks for appreciating my money. Thanks for appreciating, all the hard work that I do, because I work hard for my money. Everybody works hard for their money.
Now I just have to put high vis line back on my reel, because this is another guy doubting me. So
put high vis in a swivel and see how, whatever you want to do, put that on there. Right?
I'm going to wear my high vis vest in August when I come see you. How about that?
That's cool. But
we'll see how well high vis does.
Hey, it's your gig, man. It's your money. So like, if I don't know everything. That's the thing, right? Like, I don't know everything. A high vis line, you could get 20 trout. Sometimes it doesn't matter, man. You know that. I know that. Everybody knows that.
Here's what I'm a firm believer in. It's worked for the last 3 seasons really well.
Okay.
It's worked even better without it this season. That's where I'm going to leave it.
Okay.
I'm not saying I agree with you in the Greek. That's my way of saying you're right, but I don't have to agree that you're right.
That's okay. You can have whatever stats you want to take. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. If you keep fishing with it and you still catch fish, then if it's not broken, don't fix it.
As most things are, this saga will continue.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, Mike, looking forward to having you on the show. We'll be joined with my proverbial third wheel, Mitchell Lilly.
Nice.
No one knows him. Everyone's seen him.
Love
Mike, looking forward to it. We'll see everyone tomorrow, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, on our next edition of On the Other Line Canada with our co-host, Mr. Mike Robertson. We'll see you later.
See ya.